Every morning in the center of the square, a young villager named Milo made a habit of holding court. He had a massive goal for the upcoming winter. He was going to build the largest food storage the community had ever seen, and he made sure every single person within earshot knew about it. The response was immediate. The baker, the blacksmith, and the neighbors all smiled and congratulated him on his incredible foresight. They praised his ambition. Milo loved the attention so much that he spent hours detailing his exact blueprints, soaking in the admiration before he had even picked up a shovel. The mind receives its rush of dopamine early. It feels successful without you having to lift a single finger, and that early satisfaction effectively drains the physical motivation you need to actually start working. While the rest of the square clapped, an elder from the village stood quietly in the shadows. He didn't join the applause. He just watched Milo talk. Later that afternoon, the elder pulled Milo aside and asked a very simple question. He pointed out that Milo's storehouses were entirely empty. No wood had been chopped and no grain had been harvested. "Why," he asked, "are you celebrating a victory that hasn't happened yet?" Milo laughed it off. He told the elder he wasn't celebrating. He was just sharing his vision. In reality, he was already too addicted to the high of public approval to recognize his own lack of progress. The intoxicating feeling of talking about success becomes the exact mechanism that stops people from achieving it. In the end, the words replace the work. Milo wasn't the only one preparing for winter. A rival villager had been paying very close attention to Milo's daily speeches, taking mental notes while the rest of the crowd just cheered. Because Milo couldn't resist bragging about the specific foraging spots and wild orchards he planned to harvest, he gave away his entire strategy. The rival simply woke up earlier, beat him to the locations, and quietly took the resources for himself. Weeks passed. The temperature dropped. The first frost hit the ground, and when Milo finally went to check his storehouse, he found the shelves completely bare. Panic set in. He looked back at his last month and realized the math didn't add up in his favor. He had spent 90% of his waking hours talking about future work, and almost zero time executing it. Broadcasting a plan does two very dangerous things simultaneously. It kills your internal drive by providing unearned satisfaction, and it paints a target on your back, giving away your competitive advantage to anyone willing to listen and act. Standing in his empty storehouse, Milo made a rigid new rule for himself. No more speeches, no more promises. He was cutting off his own supply of attention. The next morning, he dragged himself out of bed long before the sun came up. He walked into the freezing mist, found a new patch of wild grain, and hoisted the heavy sacks onto his shoulder. He repaired his storage bins, meticulously organized his inventory, and carried heavy loads back and forth from the forest. He did all of this in complete, absolute silence. When neighbors eventually noticed him sweating and asked what he was up to, Milo just gave a polite smile. He offered a vague, "just getting some work done," and kept walking. A strange biological shift occurred. By refusing to burn his daily energy trying to impress the village square, he had massive reserves of stamina left over. He could focus longer, his muscles could work harder. Cutting off the external supply of verbal validation forces your brain to seek its dopamine elsewhere. You have to earn that feeling of progress through tangible, physical effort instead. When the winter storms finally arrived, they hit the valley with a bitter cold. Food supplies dwindled quickly. The villagers who had spent the autumn loudly discussing their preparation strategies found themselves shivering near empty wooden stalls, struggling to feed their families. Milo's situation was entirely different. Behind his heavy wooden doors, the bins were overflowing. His storehouse was meticulously organized, packed to the ceiling with enough calories to comfortably outlast the freeze. A group of hungry, stunned villagers came to his door, asking how he managed to pull off such a massive feat in so little time. He gave them a simple answer. He stopped talking and started working. Tangible results do not require a marketing campaign. True success speaks for itself through undeniable physical proof. When you tell everyone your goals too early, you inevitably start loving the applause more than the effort. You fall in love with the identity of being a hard worker rather than the act of doing hard work. Ambitious goals grow best in total silence. They operate exactly like seeds planted under the soil. If you dig up a seed every single day just to show your neighbors how much it has grown, you will kill the root system. It cannot survive constant exposure. You have to protect the idea. You leave it alone in the dark. You water it, tend to the soil, and work on it consistently until it is strong enough to break the surface on its own. Work in silence. Stay consistent behind closed doors. And when the time comes, let your results be your only introduction.